Hi, and welcome everybody to the Thursday edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Today is our NFL betting podcast. As always, on a Thursday, discussing NFL betting, I bring aboard Mr. Doug Upstone from DocSports.com, one of the best handicappers in the country. Doug, how are you? How was your week? And what's going on these days?
Well, just, we talked about on Monday, college basketball's here. So that adds another dynamic into the mix, and especially, on the weekends coming forward. So yeah, it's just more and interesting ways to try and make some money. Okay, from a sports betting perspective, along with the NBA and the NHL that's going on now. And, like in the NBA, we're starting to get some numbers to work with, the same is true of the NHL, but, but the NBA in particular. So that's a benefit. And then, of course, we got football, Ross. It's all good.
Oh, so yeah.
There's some really interesting things going on this weekend, and, looking forward to it like usual.
Yeah, it really tests our wherewithal, at this time of year, because you got everything going on at the same time beside Major League Baseball when it comes to mainstream sports. And like yourself, by the way, how'd you do in the Breeders' Cup last weekend?
I ended up lost just a little bit. It was off to a fantastic start. Okay, I think I've won 4 of the first 5 races. But then after that, I think I had one winner the rest of the day. I think I overall lost like $20 is what it ended up being. But just when those upsets started rolling in, it was like a runaway. It was like a runaway horse. That's what it was like.
Well, talking about upsets and underdogs, how about the NFL last week, Doug?
Oh,
10-4 against the spread for the dogs last week. And Doug, if those dogs were 5.5 or greater, they improved to 8-1 against the spread with 5 straight up wins, including double-digit underdog wins by the Jacksonville Jaguars, much to my chagrin, and also the Denver Broncos against the Dallas Cowboys. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it was just nuts. And you know what? I don't know if you felt the same way, but a half hour into the day, you just knew. Okay. It's just like, wow, it's going to be one of those days. And it certainly was just across the board. So, I mean, those are going to happen. I mean, you've been preaching about them, saying that this was going to happen, and it has started. So I think let's just say, I don't think it's going to continue in the same manner, obviously, but I think I think the rest of the season kind of seems to set up in terms of you're going to see more underdogs covering. And, I have some information, and I think you have some information too, that kind of relates to, those types of things. So why don't you lead off first?
Yeah, single-digit road underdogs this season. How about 45-23 against the spread? That hovers around 66%, folks. And if those road underdogs of 9.5 or less are coming off a straight-up an ATS loss, the number improves to 21-7 against the spread. So road underdogs have been hitting at an awfully good clip this year, especially as a single-digit dog. Doug, I just can't believe that type of winning consistency with those single-digit road dogs will continue going forward. So let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that's a good one. And another one that's out there, Ross, which I know you're aware of, is that teams that are coming off a game in which they failed to cover the spread face a team that did cover against the spread. I believe the number is 40. I want to say, or 30. Excuse me, 39-20. Okay, to the team that lost against the spread. So that's another one to be on the aware. So last week, or was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, you gave out a homework assignment, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one for you. Okay, because I'll tell you what, right now there's 6 teams that fit that bill exactly. And so, if you're looking, again, like I said, these trends don't last forever, but sometimes, some seasons, they just tend to roll. So there you go. There's another one. And Ross, I'll throw one more thing at you. Something that this is for futures players. And if Derrick Henry was still going to be playing, this is an interesting one. The Tennessee Titans just won and covered 4. Well, covered as well, but they just beat 4 consecutive teams that were in the playoffs last year. The last teams to do that were in 2008. Now, this is during the regular season, 2008, 2009, and 2010. And each one of those teams that did that ended up in the Super Bowl. That was I got it right here, the Indianapolis Colts in 2008, the Green Bay Packers in 2009, and the New England Patriots in 2010. So if Henry was there, I would say that's a good bet, right now. But with him not being there, not so sure.
Yeah, it brings a whole different dynamic without him in the lineup, even though they did go to the Rams last week, and I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself here because I'm going to have a free pick on the New Orleans and Tennessee game this week. But Doug, you have a free pick as well. And before we get to that free pick from Doug Upstone, just a friendly reminder, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube sports betting channel, please take a second to do so. It doesn't cost you anything. And look at all the good info we're filling you with. Me and Doug, for example, over the last 6 weeks, we're a combined 15-9 with our free picks in college football and the NFL. That's 60%, folks. And those aren't even our best plays. You can get those at our websites. We'll discuss that later. But Doug, I'll let you take it away on your NFL free pick for week 10.
Well, Ross, we're going to talk about the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jacksonville is coming off their first win on U.S. soil when they upset, unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills, for someone that's also has their face on this video. But you know what? Jacksonville played great defense, and they have been, the last few weeks. So, there's been a dramatic improvement. However, they're going to be going up against an Indianapolis team, and especially their offense, that is in high gear. They've averaged 31.5 points per game in their last 6 contests. Now, the Colts defense, let's face it, Ross, it's nothing special. And, and that's a big reason why they're only 4-5 this year. And last week, for example, after building a big lead on the New York Jets, they just fell asleep. They ended up giving up 30 points and 486 yards to Gang Green. Now, in this one, though, I look for the Colts to come out roaring in this one, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Jacksonville's a little bit sluggish, and so we'll go this direction. Home favorites of 6 or more against the first half line, who are basically just average, for yards per game in terms of plus minus, and in this case, so it'd be plus or minus 40 yards, going up against a team that it has been outgained by 40 to 100 yards per game on the season after 8+ games, and the one team, the Colts in this instance, allowed 400 or more total yards in their previous game. On the first half line, 22-2 against the spread. So I got Indianapolis minus the 6 on the first half line against Jacksonville for my free play here.
There you go, folks. A little bit of a twist and a turn from Doug Upstone. He's going with a first half line there in that Jacksonville game, going against the Jaguars. It's always a smart thing, especially with them coming off a win. Hey, you talk about Indy's defense. Yeah, I had my heart in my mouth last week because I had Indy minus the 10.5 against the Jets. And it looked like an absolute lock when you're up 42-10. And I had to sweat the Jets. Good thing Josh Johnson went true to form and threw an interception there in the last seconds of the game from the 13-yard line. But, I'd always be concerned if my team defensively gave up over 300 yards passing to Josh Johnson, who's been with 15 separate teams in the NFL. Textbook. I mean, textbook vagabond. Anyway, my pick. I'm going to be looking at the New Orleans and Tennessee game, like I alluded to earlier. And folks, I'm going to go out on a limb. I said it with Chip Chirimbus yesterday when we did our NFL segment, and I'll say it with Doug Upstone today. With or without Derrick Henry, I think the Tennessee's a fraud. I don't think their defense is that good, albeit they did come up with some good efforts the last 2 weeks. You could still pass the ball on this team. And if indeed you can get the lead on this team where you take the Derrick Henry element out or the running game in particular and have to rest the game on the shoulders of Ryan Tannehill, I like my chances in that certain situation. New Orleans, Doug, one of the best road teams in the NFL in recent seasons. Since 2018, they've gone 23-5 straight up on the road, including 23-5. They were 20-8 against the spread in those games as well. Now, when you turn them into a road underdog, they're even better, Doug. As a road underdog of +2 or greater since 2019, the New Orleans Saints are 6-0 straight up and against the spread in that situation. Tennessee, again, I'm concerned with their defense. I'm not concerned with New Orleans defense. Their defense has been absolutely terrific. A team and franchise under Sean Payton, who's been notorious for putting up explosive offensive numbers. That's not the case this year. They're not winning with their offense. They're winning with their defense, allowing a little less than 15 points per game. I like the strong road underdog here, New Orleans Saints, plus the 2.5 at Tennessee. Folks, I would pay the extra juice in this particular instance to buy it up to 3 if you get it at 2.5, okay? Again, like I've said on many occasions, it's not a sign of weakness. It's just smart sports betting, especially in the NFL and college football, where your key numbers continue to be 3, 6, 7, 13, and 14. Doug, before we go, what do you got coming up? How you been doing? And where can they find it, my man?
Yes, well, we're talking NFL again in particular this week, obviously, because that's what this video is entirely about. And I'm 21-13 in the NFL, up almost $3,000 in terms of profit. And I have a 6-unit play going on Sunday as my best bet, part of a three-pack. And then in college football, I have a 7-unit play, which I nailed last week, coming right back with another one, which one of the top plays you can have at Doc Sports. And so see if we can nail that one down again, Ross.
Sounds good to me. And you can find Doug again at docsports.com, along with some other really good handicappers at Doc Sports, who's been around forever and a day, folks. And in this business, longevity speaks volumes. You could find me at rbwins.com, all my daily picks, plus daily packages, in addition to subscription plans, 7-day, 30-day, annual, whatever you could afford. The longer you go, the better chance you have of getting a good profit from me, because our thing, folks, is not to get a get-rich-quick scheme with you here. We want you to make money over the long haul, and that's how you do it. That and money management. rbwins.com and Doug Upstone at docsports.com. Until the next time, for Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Good luck and God bless, folks.